Hi guys, I am here to do the Connect portion of our roundtable for this week, where I'm introducing three references to journal articles that address a similar topic and some that actually challenge it. So, first one that I found was From Cultural Stereotypes to Cross-Cultural Analysis, A Case of France. Then I found Intercultural Management and Organizational Culture, a case study of a service sector firm. And lastly, it found sources of miscommunication searching for contextual information in communications between Chinese and Danish collaborators. So the similarities in all of these that kind of relate to our article are that they all share issues within their organization in regards to communication. So either they aren't accepting of new people, they focus on their same ideals and only shared ideals, and or the communication is blocked by different forms of communication such as email or language barriers. But one of the ones that I'm focusing on is most cross-cultural analysis views. So all of these have to deal with different cultures, unlike the US, and how researchers have went there and studied how their form of communication in their organizations differs from ours. In regards to jamming, all of these organizations could use jamming in order to improve their organization, especially close communications to ones that are near them. But in the case for the France article, the cultural stereotypes, so the one thing that I wanted to highlight in the French article is just a few things about the France societal norms is that they're stuck in their ways. They typically don't let new people in. They're interdependent. They have suspicion of outsiders. It's very hard to gain their loyalty. They're more regulated by bureaucracy and peer pressure. I wanted to highlight one thing in jamming that contributes to this article, which is that in our article they discuss individual bias about intimate relationships on how meeting with strangers can be beneficial in diversifying acceptance of new loyalty. So I find that if they did implement jamming into their organization, they would be able to benefit more from new ideas as well as getting to know people that they typically wouldn't be able to because they're stuck in their ways. So for the second one, this is from a sector firm in Pakistan where North American management practices were implemented into their organization. I chose this one to relate to our article of jamming because they have a strong cultural bias, as mentioned. Many only hired share beliefs, but in our article it states that different minds should have the possibility to participate. And by doing so, you'd be able to have individuals' identity more released and more able to speak freely, whereas in the Pakistani culture, they're very anti-women and like to keep modest. They're under tight rules, which I think the tight rules portion finds that they would be a perfect candidate to implement jamming into the organization in order to open up more freely, same as the France organization, that if they left their egos and ideals at the door, they would be able to implement a new modern view into their organization. Lastly, my last article shows Chinese and Danish collaborators. So this one I chose because it challenges jamming as well as could extend it. So in our article, it only kind of shows maybe like a face-to-face interaction or like going on an outing or things like that, things where jamming could happen. In this case, you have a China office and a Danish office. So in doing so, their primary form of communication is through email, and mentioned in the article they predominantly do not do video conferences because of how difficult it is to get everybody together at the same time. But they're prone to failure in using only email. But this, as mentioned, it could really challenge jamming because they don't have any like guidelines to follow. In communication protocol, they exclude participants by talking face to face and then emailing somebody, and that person is then excluded from the conversation, and there's a gap in that communication. And so I would say that this article would challenge jamming and could possibly extend it if they gave the opportunity to those in two different places to see how those two corporations could integrate and be able to understand each other more efficiently. All right. Thanks, guys. I'll add the articles down at the bottom. Thanks.